Hello and welcome to this episode of Sabbath Worship with Ben. Hope you'll enjoy it, and as usual, we'll have a lesson and a presentation. Hope you all will have a blessed Sabbath. Now I'm going to do my lesson. This lesson is entitled Wake Up. The memory verse is Jesus wept from John 11 verse 35. So in this story, Lazarus, who was the brother of two sisters, Mary and Martha, whom Jesus was close to, was sick, and so Jesus and his disciples went to see him. So by the time they got there, however, Lazarus was already dead. Jesus knew this, and he told his disciples. So they asked why he had waited. He said that he waited because was to find God, and that it would be better for all of them that he waited than if he went. So they, after 4 days of receiving the message about Lazarus, that Jesus and his disciples arrived, and of course Lazarus was dead. So there were mourners were already there mourning his death. And then in ancient Israel, people would be hired as mourners to mourn the death of a person to make it seem more sad, even though they were just paid to do so. And so Martha came out to see Jesus, but Mary stayed in the house. And so she told him that if he had been there, her brother wouldn't have died. So Jesus asked if she believed in the resurrection. She said yes, she believed in the resurrection at the end of days. Jesus said that he was the resurrection and the life. So when then Martha returned and brought Mary, Mary said the same thing as Martha to Jesus. So Mary was greatly moved, and when Jesus saw her and the others who were gathered, because the Lazarus's death had gathered a fair amount of people, because he was a respected person of the community. So Jesus was greatly moved and asked where they laid him, and Mary told him to come and see. So as they walked to the tomb, Jesus was very greatly moved, and it says that he wept in the Bible. So when he showed this great emotion, all the Jews who were there said that this showed how much Jesus loved him. So it was all a great sad time for them, because for Mary and Martha it was their brother, and for Jesus it was one of his good friends. So went to the tomb, and Jesus told them to roll away the stone. Of course, the people there to roll away the stone, of course, they said that it had been 4 days, and so the body has started to decompose and it would stink. But Jesus said that it was for the glory of God, and that if they believed, the miracle would be performed. So they rolled away the stone. So Jesus stood in the mouth of the cave and he prayed to God. He said that he thanked his Father for always hearing him, but for the sake of the people listening, he asked publicly that his prayer be answered so that they would believe. So he turned to the cave and called for Lazarus to come forth. And then eventually Lazarus, who had been dead for 4 days and fully bound in grave clothes, emerged from the tomb. And so it was the biggest miracle, most monumentous so to speak, in a sense that Jesus had performed. So all the people were amazed, and by this wondrous act of bringing someone who was dead back to life. And so some of the people, few of them however, went back and reported what they saw to the religious leaders. And instead of being amazed by what had happened, they conferred among themselves and said that he had somehow tricked everyone and made even the people who were there believe that he had really raised a person from the dead. So of course they continued to plot against Jesus. This great miracle which Jesus performed is just a taste of what will happen in the end of days. So that's the promise for all of those who believe in Christ can have the victory over death, and like Martha said, all rise in the last day, and then we'll too be free from the curse of death. So that's the lesson for this week. Hope you enjoyed it.